Hello, hello, hello. So again, this week we're doing our hidden scars. So we're going to go ahead and start inviting some people in. If you just give us a moment while we do that. As you join, please go ahead and share. Let others know about it. We have a young lady today who's going to share about her infant loss and then her rainbow baby. So continue to join. We're going to give a few minutes for people to join in. All right, let's see here. Hi, Whitney. Get ready to share this with some people and invite them in. So you do the same.
Hello.
Hey, dear.
Hi, everyone.
So I'm just inviting some people on here. Just
Okay.
go ahead and invite some people to join us. Everybody who's ever here. All righty, all righty. All right, all right, all right. All right. You look so cute. Look at you.
Thank you.
You can hear me fine.
I can hear you. Yes.
Hi, Lolita. How are you? Glad to have you joining us. We're going to wait a few more minutes and we'll start exactly 3 o'clock. I'll do a brief intro, not a whole lot because your story will do its own. All right, so we're at 3 o'clock. So hello to everyone who's here. Just for you, Yolanda Rawlings. We are here doing another Our Hidden Scars. If you have not watched them, then you need to go on my page and follow up on the other ones. But today we have a young lady, Dr. Whitney Gillespie. Whitney has a testimony that we all need to hear. So our hidden scars is about sharing our stories, letting people know about the things that's going on in our life. We've all been through it. Her story is not the same as everybody else, but it's not different from anyone else. God says we need to start talking about it, and He has given me the purpose of doing that. So here I am doing that. So I thank all of you who are joining on. Whitney is going to talk about her infant loss. She lost the baby, I think it was 6 years ago,
Yes.
this past December. And she's going to share with us. She's not alone. I also lost the baby, so I'm aware of what she's talking about. Um, I didn't talk about mine, so mine is still in me. So some things she's going to say is probably going to touch me. But one in 100 babies are lost to stillbirths. Then you have miscarriages. It goes on and on. But I don't want to prolong us today. I want to introduce you to Dr. Whitney Gillespie and let her do her story and however she's driven to do. And we just want to take the time to say that I pray that the devil doesn't step in because the last couple of ones I did, the devil tried to come in and stop some things and we had to go out and come back in. But God has a reason for this. And if the devil puts us out, remember, we coming back.
We're
So
coming
stay
back.
right where you are and let us work through it and continue. But I claimed that he would not show up today because he's already seen that we're not going to give up. So go ahead, Whitney, and let the world know what you need to know.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Whitney Gillespie, but Whitney is what I answer to. It's been a crazy journey, to say the least. I thought of how many ways I was going to say it. I try, you know how you try to rehearse what you think you're going to say? So that way, if you're going to cry, you know when to be prepared or how far to share it. And I've tried to figure out how am I going to convey my message without breaking down and crying. Then I just realized if the tears fall, they fall because it definitely it's a blessing. This journey is a blessing, even down to these last few weeks. So about 6 years ago, I decided that, I'm going to go out here, enjoy spring break, and do what I'm big and bad enough to do. And in that came a pregnancy. It came Angel. And at that time, I had told my roommate, I was like, I think I'm pregnant. And she was like, well, there's the plan B. There's other options. You don't have to go through with this. And I was like, nope, I did what I did. So if I am, then I'll just deal with the consequences. But it didn't hit me. Reality didn't hit me because I was always the one who played it safe. I was always the one who did what I was supposed to do, never did anything. I kept my nose clean, as they say. So when I found out that I was pregnant, I was in shock. I was in shock, and then I immediately went to mommy mode. I immediately said, okay, I have one job. Let me get two jobs. Let me do what I need to do. I was working full time. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. And at that time, I was excited because in my mind, the greatest accomplishment, I mean, yeah, the degrees were lovely because at the time I was 26, about to be 27. Degrees are lovely. But at that moment, I felt like the greatest accomplishment I could make was giving life. Because as women, that is amazing for us to be able to give birth. So I thought to myself, oh my God, this is the greatest accomplishment that I could do. And I was excited and I shared it with the world. And this was 6 years ago. And it toughened my skin because I didn't realize how cruel people could be. I didn't realize how nasty people could be. And when I say that, I mean church people. We're not going to say Christians. We're going to say church folk. Because it was the church folk who came to me and was like, oh, you having a baby out of wedlock? Oh, that's not good. You're supposed to be married. That's an abomination. Or it was church people who told me, oh, you're pregnant and you're not married? Oh, that's not good. You're not a role model. It was the church people who told me, you're pregnant and you're not married. Where's the father? You're not going to marry him. You need to give that baby a daddy, a home. It was the church folk who told me, it doesn't matter what you and him got going on. Y'all need to be together because what goes on in this house stays in this house, but the baby needs to see a united front. It was the church folks. It was family. It was people who looked down on me, who thought that I was less than because I had gotten pregnant. And at that point, I had to toughen my skin and realize that this baby was a blessing. It may not have happened that the way you thought it was supposed to happen. It may not have been how you felt I should have had this child, but the child is here. And so I walked around. I even had people say, how dare you walk around flaunting your sin? And it was a toughening of the skin moment to the point where I felt like it was my job, my duty to be, I guess, the martyr or the pillar for those who walked in my shoes, for those who got pregnant and the church shunned them, for those who got pregnant and their family looked at them like they were crazy. And I was like, hey, it is what it is. I'm not going to abort this child. I'm not going to sit here and act like my child ain't here because it pleases you. And I walked around. To people, it looked like I was flaunting my sin. But to me, I felt like if God didn't want me to get pregnant, the baby would not be there. So fast forward, I go along. I'm doing the pregnancy. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, dealing with the crazy family members and the church folk. And literally at 9 weeks, I start having abdominal pain, cramps, excruciating to the point where I'm bent over, to the point where I'm taking baths trying to feel better. And I'm like, I got to go to the ER. And my mom's like, you deal with pain well. Like the fact that you are in excruciating pain, this isn't you. So we get to the ER and, they do the routine ultrasound appointment. And the tech goes, oh, you have a 10-centimeter mass. It looks like the size of an orange on the screen. And she shows it to me. And she shows me my child. And I don't know if she knew that she wasn't supposed to say that, but she did. And at that moment, this was right in the month of May. Now, mind you, I found out in April I was pregnant. So this is in the month of May. My birthday is May 23rd. Mother's Day was right around the corner. And I'm like, okay, there's a mass. All right, don't really know what that means, but I'm going to keep pushing. I get to the doctor. This is 9 weeks. I get to the doctor, and they're like, you have to decide what you're going to do. I said, what does that mean? They said, you have to decide what you're going to do. You have 5 fibroid tumors and a large cyst, and it's rapidly growing, and it could kill your child. I said, I'm going to deal with being a mother. I'm going to go Mother's Day. I'm going to celebrate my child. I'm going to make it through my birthday with my child. I'm not going to abort this child. Why would God allow me to get pregnant and then take this child from me? So Mother's Day came around. It was on a Sunday. I went to church, and one of my friends, he was singing Boys to Men. I'm sorry, my phone's shaking. He was singing Boys to Men, a song for Mama. And I stood up, and I remember rocking and singing the song along to the point where I tell my child, Angel, that that's our song. So I remember rocking and holding my belly and saying, I'm a mommy. I don't care what nobody says. And I literally had a peace come over me, and I was like, whatever happens, happens, but I'm not going to abort this child. And so I remember literally going, okay, whatever happens, happens. So I said, all right, this was 9 weeks. At 10 weeks and 5 days,
Your time. Take your time.
At 10 weeks and 5 days, I'm at work. I work at a school system, and I'm at nap time. And
All right, it's the devil trying to work.
I get to the bathroom. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
So I get to the bathroom.
Yeah, you have froze for a minute.
Okay, I get to the bathroom, and blood was everywhere. And I went in shock. And I start trying to clean up my baby's blood because I didn't want the custodian to have to clean up my child's blood. And I froze because reality hit that my baby's gone. And I literally just stood there and froze. And my coworker, she came and she saw me in the bathroom, and she looked at all the blood, and she saw that I froze. She saw I froze, and she didn't have any words. She said, come on, baby, come on. And we went to the principal's office. We're sitting there. And because my mindset is I'm not there, I start calling people. I call my dad. I call my mom. My mom's not answering. My dad's like, Whitney, you lost blood? And I was like, my child's gone. And he said, what? And I was like, I think I lost my baby just now. And he said, what? And I said, the blood's everywhere. It's all over me. It's all over me. And I don't know what to do. He said, go to the hospital, Whitney. Go to the hospital. And I didn't realize how serious it was until I saw my coworkers standing in the hallway crying. And they all just looked at me with sympathy in their eyes. And I said, oh, God, this is really happening. I'm up here taking care of somebody else's child, and my baby is gone. So the ambulance came, and the next few minutes were a blur because I was so busy thinking, why would I get pregnant, God, if you're not going to let me hold my baby? And my baby passed on May 21st, 2 days before my 27th birthday. And I didn't understand. I said, why? Why is it that I can take care of other people's kids? Why is it that I can be there for other people? Why is it that my brother, who doesn't even want his child, is able to have a kid and somebody else is raising his child? But here I am, pregnant, and I lose my baby at 10 weeks and 5 days. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't. And to be honest, it still didn't make sense all the way up until about December the 13th, 2020. But we'll get to that. But it didn't make sense. And so I literally got to the hospital. And you would think after losing my baby and getting to the hospital, people would be kind. People would be generous. I had family arguing in the hospital room right after the doctor just told me that my baby transitioned, arguing over who should be in the hospital room. And it literally made me angry to the point where I'm just like, what's going on? I literally was sitting there and I'm like, are you serious? And these are the same family members who told me that it was a sin that I got pregnant. These are the same family members who told me that the reason why my baby died is because I wasn't married. These are the same people who told me this foolishness standing in the hospital room talking about the baby's gone. And unbeknownst to me, not even going to name the hospital, but my brilliant self went to a hospital that don't believe in doing a DNC. They believe in letting the baby pass on its own. A DNC is where when you have a miscarriage, you go in and they do the procedure to remove the baby. This particular brilliant hospital told me, we're going to send you home and let the baby pass on his own in a toilet. And I remember to this day, even as it been 6 years, I said, unless you want me to be on Tucker's floor, you're going to do something. And you would think that they would see that I was sincere and serious. They said, well, you're going to have to talk to your doctor. We can't help you, because if we do that, it's called a spontaneous abortion, and we don't believe in abortions here at this hospital. So I'm laying there saying, well, get my doctor on the phone. Now let's talk about this genius doctor of mine, who currently, when I went to go look her up, because now that it's been 6 years, I was ready to sue. When I went to go look her up, she's now in a whole different field. She done left the field. She decided that she was going to play God, because she said black women are known to have fibroid tumors, and she was just hoping that my tumor shrunk. Instead, she waited till it got to 5 fibroid tumors and 1 large cyst, and then she said, oh, I'm so sorry. Didn't know it was going to get this bad. And so therefore, I tried to track her down. Mind you, her little brilliant self was nowhere to be found. So I literally called a hospital, and I'm like, okay, mind you, I just lost the baby. So I'm dealing with all of this. So I call a hospital, and I'm like, I need a DNC. I need it done. I lost a lot of blood, and I need it done. Mind you, I didn't realize at the time I lost so much blood, I was almost about to die. Didn't know this. All I'm thinking is, I need to make sure that my child is not walking around in my body, my lifeless child. That makes no sense to me. So I finally get a hold of my doctor, and they literally said, well, come on in, we'll do the DNC. Mind you, all this is happening 2 days before my birthday, right? 2 days before my birthday. And I'm thinking, wow, what a wonderful 27th birthday this is going to be. And I get to the hospital, and they do the DNC. But before they do it, they give me medicine to put me under. And I lie not, y'all. This trifling doctor shows up right when the anesthesia is about to kick in and I'm about to drift off to sleep. And she rubs my face and goes, I'm sorry. And all I could do was have 1 tear shed down my eye, down my cheek, and literally cry as I went to sleep. And then I woke up, and they said I almost died because I lost more blood. And I'm sitting here going, okay, great. Well, why didn't I die? Because my birthday is in a few days. I don't understand why this is happening. It just didn't make sense. So then they discharged me on my birthday. They sent me home with medication because I still have the fibroid tumors in me. They didn't touch those. They sent me home with medication on my birthday. I got family who don't come over to see me. I'm at my dad's house. Nobody wants to see me because I'm tired.
Oh, hold on, people. She should be back on. Give it a minute. The devil don't want us to do this, but God does. So best believe we're going to push through this. We'll give it a minute for her to request to come in. Let's see what she say. There she go. Hold on. All right. She's coming on. Back on.
All right, I'm back. I'm here. I don't know what's going on with y'all phones or what's going on. But, okay.
You know, the devil, I told you, the devil tried to stop these hitting stars, but
I see it. I see it. But this is going to get told because it's going to bless somebody. It really is. So I go home with the medication, and I'm in excruciating pain. I ended up at the ER at least 20 times, and I ended up to the point where they literally had me in there hooked up to IVs, giving me every medicine you can give me, from Percocets to Oxy to Dilaudid, all of this. And they're like, you got to be faking. Are you really in that much pain? And I was like, it hurts. It hurts. And so they're like, it hurts? I said, it hurts. And literally, I go back to this trifling doctor. She says she won't touch me. Mind you, this is like the end of May. We're in June. She won't touch me. She said because I lost too much blood. So she wants me to sit with the fibroid tumors in me, and we'll wait and see a couple of months if I can go ahead and I can get my body regulated. So at this point, I decide, you know what? I'm not going to do this. So I search around, and I realized that there's a fertility clinic. When you're having fertility issues, if you go to a fertility clinic, then they'll do the surgery in order for you to actually be better and be able to be fertile again and have kids. So I found a fertility clinic way out in Henrico, and this amazing doctor who's retired now, he said, I'll do the surgery. When he went to examine me, he said, your body is still operating as if you're 22 weeks pregnant. Your body is not adjusting. The fibroids are still growing. And at this point, not only do you have 5 fibroid tumors and a large cyst, you also have small cysts that are pretty much fighting and taking away to the point where you're in excruciating pain. Your stomach looks swollen. My stomach looked like I was carrying twins. And at that point, I was just devastated. I said, "So what are you telling me?" And he goes, "So the surgery is going to be $80,000. It's going to be a laparoscopic myomectomy. We got to do some other stuff too. It's $80,000. Your insurance is going to cover it, but it's not a guaranteed surgery. Anything could happen while you're on the operating table. I need you to sign a release." And at this point, I was like, "Well, shucks, I didn't lost the baby. So if I die, I die." At this point, you have to understand, when you are not expecting to be pregnant, and then you get pregnant, and then you lose the baby, a lot goes through your mind. At this point, I was suicidal. At this point, I was angry. At this point, I wanted revenge. At this point, I didn't want nobody to talk to me about God. At this point, I didn't want nobody to talk to me about perfect will. At this point, anybody who walked up in my face, let's be honest, who said something about my baby died because I wasn't married, they had a couple choice words. At this point, I didn't want to be around anybody because I was toxic. I was angry. I felt like, hey, if I couldn't hold this baby, I should have never got pregnant. There's no reason why I'm going through this. I don't want to be an example for other people. I don't want to be the martyr. I don't want to be the one who sit here and say, "What, Whitney's story blessed my life." No, let there be somebody else. That if that's what you want, God, I don't want it, because I was angry. At that point, it didn't make sense. I didn't want to be the example. No, thank you. I'll pass. And so at this point, I'm angry and I'm like, okay, we got to make sense of this. I agree, and I have the $80,000 surgery. May 21st, I lost Angel at 10 weeks and 5 days. May 23rd, I celebrated 27 years of life. July 28th, I had the $80,000 surgery. August 28th, I went and got cleared saying, okay, your body healed. August 31st, I reported back to work in the school system here, the local school system. September, I threw a baby shower for my godson's mom. October, he was born. November, I had to deal with trifling family members looking at me crazy across the Thanksgiving table. In December, Angel would have been born in December 18th, and then I had to celebrate the holidays with no child. During this time, I was suicidal. I was angry. I was bitter. I had to stay at home and recover because it was a major surgery I had. And at this time, I started writing. And I started writing. And I wrote my thoughts. I wrote what I wish people had told me about relationships. I wrote about Angel. And I got up and I went to the library because I was like, I can't stay in this house. It's going to drive me nuts. And I never forget, I met this island chick named, Miss Linda at the library, the Hull Street Library. And I never forget, she said, well, we have a young author who's talking about self-publishing in our room over here. Her name is Kim L. Walton. And you should go in there and talk to her. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It was like, well, I ain't got nothing else to do. So I went and talked to her. And when I tell you, I don't think I ever told Mama Kim, but when I tell you, meeting her was the best thing that I needed at that moment. When I tell you, not only did she talk to me about something that I'm currently doing now as a self-published author, but she spoke to my heart. She spoke to me. Meeting her has been amazing. When I tell you, she was able to love on me. I became family. I ended up meeting Allie, her daughter. And when I tell you, it was phenomenal because she spoke life to me. She told me to write. She told me to self-publish. I ended up self-publishing 13 books. I ended up getting my life back. I ended up not being suicidal, but asking God, what is the purpose for this? In all of this, I started a nonprofit organization. In all of this, I created Angel's Legacy Walk, where I gave back to the hospital. Believe it or not, the hospital where I lost Angel, I was able to do a walk and donate money back to their NICU unit for other babies who could have a fighting chance. In Angel's name, I was able to create initiatives for women to talk about miscarriage because it's a taboo topic. And yes, at first I was toxic and angry, but then I realized, well, Whitney, I mean, you can't really do anything about it. God didn't let you die, so obviously you're gonna have to just suck this up, honey, and figure out how you could turn this terrible situation into something positive. And I've always believed that we're here for a greater purpose, and that our purpose is to serve. It's not to receive. If we receive, great, but to give back. Because when you go to the grave, you want to go empty. I always say that. I always say when I die, I wanted to be said that she gave. She went to the grave empty. She did what she came to do. She did it successfully. She did it with no apologies. And so at this moment, I met Mama Kim. We started doing events, and I started to see why I was here. And at this time, I ain't gonna lie, I still was angry. I still wanted my child. I ain't gonna lie, I did. But it started to not hurt as bad. I started not to hate as much. And it started to open my heart to be like, well, maybe I could find something out of it. And to fast forward, in 2019, I had been going on and I had been saying, you know what? I need to change. Every year around May, I would get so depressed. I would shut down and I would be like, I can't keep doing this. So what I ended up doing was going, okay, you know what? I'm going to change this. I ended up going and checking out my job. They had it where you could get 5 free therapy sessions. And I remember I went to this nice little lady, little Caucasian lady. I said, look, I don't need nobody to be bubbly. I don't need nobody to talk about rainbows and gumdrops. I need you to get me through my breakthrough. I need you to talk to me. I need to heal because I'm angry. I'm angry about my child's loss. I'm angry about where life is. I need to figure things out. And so when I said that, I said, okay. So this was in May 1st of 2019. And I went to therapy. And that was the best thing in my life. And I realized that for some reason, the Black community, therapy is taboo topic. It's a taboo topic because they feel like what happens in this house stays in this house. It's a taboo topic because they say you shouldn't be telling your business to nobody else. It's a taboo topic because people feel like when you go to therapy, you're exposing them. But when you go to therapy, you're dealing with the rooted issues in yourself so that way you can be a better you. So I didn't go to therapy saying this is that person's fault, this is that person's fault. I went to therapy saying this is what I did. This is where I am. Help me be a better me. Help me not hate the month of May that I was born in. Help me not hate people. Help me not look at somebody who's pregnant and break down crying, wondering what my child would have looked like. Help me. And so when I went there, I went to help Whitney. I didn't want to go help Dr. Whitney. I didn't want to go help Chancellor Whitney. I went to help Whitney. Whitney healed because Whitney was angry. Whitney was toxic, and Whitney felt like I can't move forward unless I get the help I needed. So May 1st, she sat down, she said, right now you got a lot going on. The best way to honor your child is to do something. Now, she must have forgot that I told her I was a teacher. So when you give me homework, I'm going to do it. So I went and I said, okay. And I literally went and I was like, all right, cool. Out of those sessions with her, and I've been with her ever since, but out of those sessions with her, Angel's Legacy Walk went through. There was a play, a book based off of my life, and then Angel's Legacy Institute for Religious Studies, which is a Bible college that I created because I got tired of, with me having several degrees and all of that, I got tired of people going to college and having to take all these gen ed requirements, and then you never get to go to your actual core or what you're trying to do. And I knew that the biggest area was people in the community and people in the church. A lot of them worked in the capacity they wanted to, but they just needed a degree in order for them to feel more legit, in order for people to take them seriously. Because for some reason, when you got a title in front of your name, people listen more. It's crazy. It's like they don't care what you got to offer, but when you're somebody, they listen more. And so I wanted to help people. And at this time, I named it Angel's Legacy. Keep in mind, Angel's Legacy. Now, watch those 2 names because that's going to come into play. Angel was my first child, and Angel's Legacy. So I said, okay, cool. And so I did that, and I started the school in 2019, and we're on our 4th graduation coming up. And being that we're on our 4th graduation coming up, I've had amazing people come into my life, like Yolanda, like, Miasha, Dr. Miasha, like Everett. People come into my life, and for me to see them thrive, to see Hidden Scars, to see Dr. Miasha do her stuff on there, to see people surpass what they can, to see Dr. Coleman and all of them, to see all of that all I kept thinking was, had I not got out of my bed and went to go see the library and run into Mama Kim, who spoke life to me, like, I don't think I ever told her that. That day that she took time to talk to me, the day that she sat there and she spoke life to me and she talked to me like one of her babies. She don't realize I was suicidal. She don't realize I was hurt because I lost Angel. She don't realize that I felt alone. She talked to me and she loved on me, and to this day, she has still been 100% genuine. And it was like God put people in my path right when I was about to give up and be like, I can't do this no more. And so when I tell you, it felt like redemption. It felt like I was back. So when I tell you, standing here today has been the best thing in the whole wide world. And then to make it even better, December the 12th, 2020, I'm sitting there and I'm going to my graduation. And it's been 6 years, y'all. It's been 6 years. I'm going to my graduation on December the 12th, and I'm like kind of tired. And I'm like, oh, it's been I got a lot going on, whatever. I'm exhausted. And being that I'm exhausted, I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm driving down the street, headed to the graduation, and I see a Jeep Liberty Sport. And you're like, well, what's the significance of a white Jeep Liberty Sport? When I was pregnant with Angel, I drove a white Jeep Liberty Sport. So when I saw this Jeep Liberty Sport, I broke down crying. And I was like, why am I crying? Why am I crying? And I thought, well, maybe it's because the graduation, this is Angel's Legacy Institute graduation. Maybe it's that. And then I got sick to my stomach, and I'm like, why am I sick to my stomach? Why do I feel like I need to eat something? Like, I don't really eat breakfast. So I went to McDonald's because I was stubborn. I'm not eating breakfast. And I grabbed 2 hash browns and a mango pineapple smoothie. I crushed the mango pineapple smoothie, but the hash browns, they didn't smell right. And I'm like, that's weird. Maybe I'm just stressed. I get through the graduation, and everything was beautiful. Everything was amazing, as always. I get home, and I fall asleep. I sleep the whole night. I sleep all day Sunday, and I wake up at 10. I said, something ain't right. Something ain't right. I don't really sleep all day. I may take naps, but I don't sleep all day. So I take a pregnancy test, and I'm like, I'm just going to take it just because. And it came back positive. And I was like, wait a minute. And at this moment, when you've gone through so much hell, when you've gone through so much, you're like, God, don't play with my emotions. I'm not in the mood right now. I'm not in the mood. This is Angel's month. It's been 6 years. I gave up on everything. I said to myself, if it never happens, it never happens. So I'm like, all right, we're going to see. And I took the test, and it came back positive. I took another test. It came back positive. Y'all, I know. I took about 6 tests because in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to just keep taking tests. I'm going to keep taking tests. They come like 6 in a box. I'm going to take tests. And then I'm like, nah, this ain't right. So then I go to the doctor. I take another test. They was like, yeah, you're pregnant. You're 3 weeks and 6 days. And I was like, yeah, that ain't right. Then I go to a different doctor. They said, yeah, you're pregnant. And then I lied down. I'm sitting in the car and I start laughing. I'm like, Whitney, how many pregnancy tests and doctors you going to go to before you believe it? And I'm like, it's been 6 years. Like, is he really going to do this now? Am I really going to be a mommy again? And literally, I tell you, I finally got tired of going to the doctors when I waited and had my 8-week ultrasound appointment. And y'all, when I saw that baby on the screen, my heart was just full with so much joy. And I said, wow, this is happening again. So my first child was named Angel. This child is named Legacy. Therefore, Angel's Legacy Institute is that. It came full circle. And so I said, okay, God. And the way to show you how the enemy will play tricks on your mind, during this pregnancy, I had no symptoms, knock on wood, everything, Law. Had no symptoms. And I kept saying, am I really pregnant? I don't have any symptoms. And I kept getting worried. I kept going to the doctor, am I pregnant? Like, they were like, yeah, the baby's fine. And every time I would go to the ultrasound, she up there moving on the screen. And I'm like, okay, we good. Baby's fine. And I went, had the early gender reveal test and found out it was a little girl. And I said, okay, I'm having a little me. Lord Jesus, is the world ready? But I was like, all right. And literally, I was at peace. But then, of course, when Angel's anniversary came up of 10 weeks and 5 days, I had a panic attack. And just be transparent. You can say all the scriptures you want. You can talk all the positive quotes you want. But when reality come and slap you, you're going to be looking like, okay. And I had a panic attack. So I'm sitting there and I'm laying in the bed and I start having cramps. I start having all of these symptoms. And I don't know if they phantom symptoms. I don't know if they real cramps and symptoms. I don't know if my brain is playing tricks on me because it's the anniversary. So 2 in the morning, I'm calling my dad. I'm calling my mom. I drive to the hospital. And of course, this was January 31st, y'all. Yes, it was the day that it snowed. And I'm driving on the highway to the hospital because I'm like, I don't know if I miscarry. I want to be in the hospital because I'm thinking, here we go again. You get me excited, but this time I didn't share it with anybody. And I'm like, here we go again. You get me excited, and then you're going to take it away. And then I had to check myself and was like, you're going to have what you say. So speak positive. Don't speak negative. I know you're scared, but you're going to be okay. So, yes, y'all, I'm on the whole way driving. I'm talking to myself. I got the windows down. I'm like blasting music. I'm doing everything I can to keep me sane. I get to the hospital, and I'm there with another patient, and I get to the back, and they're running all these tests and everything. And, of course, they're doing all of this. They get to ultrasound, and the tech, she turns the screen to her, and I'm like, can I see? She goes, if you can see through my glasses. And I'm thinking, she kind of nasty, y'all. But I'm like, all right. And it seemed like everybody was very short with me. And I think that made me, like, really on edge even more. And I'm saying to myself, okay, I don't get why people are being short and nasty, but calm down, Whitney. You're going to be all right. And the tech rolls me back to my room. She goes, okay, so it's going to be about 30, 45 minutes before the doctor get in here and tell you the results. And y'all, that was the longest 30, 45 minutes of my life. I got out of the bed. I turned the lights off. I put that little thin sheet that they give you, wrapped it around me, and I laid there. And I was like, I'm going to try to go to sleep. And it was like no longer than I tried to doze off, the doctor comes in. And he flips the light on, and I'm looking at him like, why you flip the light on? I'm trying to rest. He flips the light on, and he goes, I thought you said you was about 10 weeks, 5 days. I said, yeah, I am. He goes, no, you're not. You're 11 weeks and 2 days. And literally tears roll down my face. And I'm like, oh, my God, I crossed over, God. I crossed over because you got to understand the background of it all. I have dreaded this anniversary ever since I found out I was pregnant because I said, I don't want to get to this anniversary and have a panic attack. I don't want to be sitting up waiting till 1:45 come to see, am I going to be good? Is blood going to come again? It was scary because I'm thinking, I don't want to be disappointed again. I don't want to be hurt again. If this is the case, then I'll just never have kids. I don't want to hurt. And when he said, you're 11 weeks and 2 days, and all I could think was you crossed over. That's all I kept hearing, you crossed over. And Tasha Cobbs, I believe, has a song, In Spite of Me. And that played in my head, like, in spite of my faults, in spite of my issues, in spite of me not doing it the way people think I should have did it, in spite of me not feeling like, maybe it is the reason why I wasn't married, why God took my kid. Because when people say negative stuff and you start seeing negative, you start wondering if people are telling the truth. And then you have to speak over your mind and speak over your heart and say, no, that's not true. And so you guys, like, literally, when he said that I was 11-2 and I said I crossed over, I felt peace. And he said, your baby's fine. Your baby's healthy. You're healthy. You can go home. Get some rest. Drive safe. And it was the best news in the world. And on Friday, I celebrated being in the safe zone. So now I don't have to worry, guys. I don't have to worry. I woke up crying. I woke up smiling at the ceiling, saying, God, I made it to the safe zone. I didn't think I was going to make it. I get to witness this child being born. I get to hold this child. And this time around, I was able to post it on social media and not get scared. I was able to share it with friends and family and not get scared. And this time around, God surrounded me with a strong support system of people who like, girl, you know that baby gonna be well taken care of. Girl, as much as you've done for people, you know God got you. And it's amazing this time around compared to 6 years ago. So out of all of this, it didn't make sense why I lost Angel. It didn't make sense why I felt like, God, why me? But now I'm like, oh my God, this is why. I may not be able to hold Angel. I may not be able to see if Angel looks like me. But every time I see somebody like Yolanda, every time I see somebody like Everett, every time I see somebody like Coleman or Miasha or anybody who's come through my school or done anything related to Angel's legacy, I know my baby is still here. I know my baby is working. I know my baby's death was not in vain. Every time I hear them hush, and that's why I had no problem saying yes to this hidden scars, because I said, Angel, we did it, baby. We did it. 6 years later, baby, we did it. So for me, if it means that my life encourages somebody else through my tears, through my joy, through my pain, I am okay with it now. I wasn't okay at first. But when I see all that has transpired because of Angel's life, because of God giving me this assignment, yes, it hurts. If you had told me 6 years ago, Whitney, you're going to have to go through all of this, but on the other side, you're going to be okay, I probably would have said, where's the exit? I don't want to do it. But I'm glad God didn't show me what I had to go through. It's made me stronger. It's made me wiser. Yes, I'm a crybaby. I love to cry, but it's made me stronger and wiser. And for that, I'm truly grateful. So it wasn't an easy road, but it was necessary. And to be able to stand here now carrying legacy, it's the best gift in the whole wide world. And so for me, I'm okay with this journey. I'm okay with sharing my story. And yes, every angel still lives. And I am okay with it all. And I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for sharing my story, because if Angel and I can touch somebody's life, then it's a good day for me. And so thank you, Yolanda, for this opportunity. I thank you for allowing me to share, even though I cried the whole time. I thank you because it needed to be said. It's 6 years later, and legacy is here. Angel, I'm grateful. I will always have two heartbeats. And I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'm just looking forward to the future. So if I can touch anybody's life, then I know my living is not in vain, and I know I've touched more than one. So I'm definitely grateful for every one of my 32 years of life. And that's my story.
Amen. 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 Thank you so much. I like what Everett Philip L, who him and his wife did one of these last week. Y'all need to check it out if you haven't seen it. He says Angel still lives. It's God's legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I like
Yeah.
the way he put it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen, this is the fifth one. I did two myself about grief.
Mm-hmm.
First one was just admitting that I had the grief. The second one was talking about accepting the grief. We've had Kim on here. I tagged her in here because this is her story and Whitney's cross. So I posted hers in here. We had Everett and my age to talk about, surviving God's miracles. She died and still here. He was beside her the whole time. Kim on her, she talked about losing her daughter, her baby, and having to raise her sons. We aren't doing this for your sympathy.
Mm-mm.
We aren't doing this for your empathy. We are doing this because God says it's time for us to talk about it. Sometimes we talk about everything we ain't supposed to talk about, but then we keep everything else hidden. It's time to come front and forward. If anything on here has touched you, let Whitney know. Let me know. Let us know that we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. Let us know that this story, the next one is coming up. They mean something to you. They made you feel some type of way. They made you go through something. They made you deal with something. They made you just accept. So I'm gonna go over a few more things of Whitney's. So her school, Angels Legacy Institute for Religious Studies. I have one degree and I'm getting ready to get my second one. So I am Minister Yolanda Rawlings. I don't tell people that because people are funny about titles.
Yes,
I'm not my title. I'm still Yolanda every day. But the end of March, right after my birthday, I will be Dr. Yolanda Rawlings through her school. Many people that watched us have been through her school. You need to check it out. You need to enroll. The next class starts the end of March 12th is enrollment day. So it's been 6 years for her. And in that 6 years, she did the school. She has 13 books. She has one play, which is also in the form of a book. I'll post all those on here. She has the WNG Dream Again Project, which is a 501c3. What else? She just has so much going on. And I just can't say enough. But what I do know is trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. And that's what stuck out for me when you were talking. So I just pray that something here has touched you. Whitney, you know, as always, I love having this connection with you. I thank God for all this. He's placed some awesome people in my life. So I just want to tell you that this weekend coming up, next weekend coming up, Just Be Used doing a community event, Valentine's Assisted Living. Whitney and a group of people, the Colemans, Dr. Valentine, yes. They all got together and committed, gave a lot of gifts. I've had many people give gifts, financial and went out and purchased. So we were going to put those days together and we're going to deliver them Friday and Saturday. Next Saturday, February 20th at 3 o'clock, we got another person coming on, Monica McMillan. Monica is going to talk about her battle with cancer. She's a cancer survivor. God has placed people in my path to be able to come on here and talk about the hidden scars. Because it's not always about what you see. It's the things we don't see. And I don't know about anybody else. I can only speak for me. But by doing this, it's healing me day by day.
Yes.
I'm getting better every time we do one because it helps me to deal with my stuff. Helps me to put my stuff on front. God is just using me outside the box and putting me in some uncomfortable situations, and I'm just trying to follow through. So just follow Just Be You. It's facebook.com /JUSTBUINC. Contact Whitney on her different platforms, the Gillums, and check out Kim as well. Kim has many books coming out, and I believe that we're going to have her back on later, probably in April, to talk about her own story, because she told her daughter's story, or her perspective from her daughter's story. But Kim has her own. But if you feel like you had something to say and God telling you to say, contact me. But I love you all. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. And thank you, Whitney. Thank you, Angel. And thank you, Legacy.
Yes.